Hello, welcome to the energy update for February. I'm Lee and I'm an intuitive, and every month I take the pulse on what might be showing up for us energetically, psychologically, emotionally. 8 themes for the month of February, and a few of them are 2024 is a year of deep transformation. So we're going to look at how this might be showing up for you and what it means for you personally. The second theme is reshaping your personal life. A lot of us are going to be reshaping and retooling different details of our lives right now. And thirdly, psychic awakening or overwhelm. Depending on who you are, you'll either be awakening to your psychic energy or feeling overwhelmed by it. So these 3 and 5 more themes, stay tuned for the full update. Hi everyone, welcome to the full energy update for February, and welcome to this environment that I'm in, which is an environment we created for Rebirth 2024, my annual transformation course. It's a great way to kick the year off, and we finished yesterday. So it's not too late if you wanted to join in on Rebirth, and you'll have everything archived and ready for you. And stay tuned to the end of this broadcast if you'd like to hear my announcement about the upcoming tour I'm going to be doing, live events in the US and Canada through the month of June. So stay tuned. But let's dive into the themes for February 2024. Now, before I do that, one thing I wanted to just address is energetically 2024 kind of began early. My guides were saying that it started to come in energetically in November of 2023 and started to permeate who we were. And that is directly why so many of us may have experienced quite a purge of late. I know there is a perception that we can also have, which is, it's hard for me to get started with the new year. And many people felt like January took time for them to wake up and feel ready for 2024. But what my guides were explaining to me was many of us have been having to shed and purge a lot of energy as we move into what will be a massively transformational year for us personally, also for the planet. So theme number 1 is 2024 equals a year of deep transformation. So we're going to see this play out in the outside world in ways that we're all yet waiting to see. We'll see what that actually looks like in the outside world. But what we're already connected to as aware, awake humans is the energy of that timeline that we're in. So you can always feel things coming in the future. You might not know exactly how they're going to look, but you can start to feel things coming before they do, and they have an effect on us. So the message for you about how you're feeling right now, and particularly for February, is remember to allow the transformation process the time and the care it might need. Broken down simply, what this means is when we are being a little bit battered by life, perhaps we've got big things going on in our life that are really taking a toll on us, or you don't necessarily have those external factors outside you that are pushing you to feel differently on the inside or behave differently on the inside. It's just naturally coming through you. As an energetically aware or sensitive person, you might be feeling that you're going through this huge rearrangement internally, or this purge, or this shedding, or you're beginning to really focus on who you are and what you want to bring into your life next. So it's a deeply transformational time. Many of us will have felt in the months of December and January a lot of this energy of purging, shedding, to be ready for the new. And February will either find you beginning to make the transformation happen in your life in a bigger way. You'll be able to take steps forward, or feel like you have a bit more energy to make things happen than you did in the last few months. But equally, it can find some of you feeling a little bit over it. Like you're tired from January and December, or you're tired of feeling like you're waiting for things to happen. There is this crackle in your energy as if you're about to break through, but you can't quite make the breakthrough. So remember that the transformation process takes time. And for all of us, we're always evolving every single day, but there are periods of our life where we go through big accelerations. And often this is catalyzed by outside events. But right now, we're all being catalyzed energetically and internally by how fast this world is moving and how much it's changing. I'll speak a little later on about electrical upgrades, reshaping your life, but just as a general heading for February and 2024 as a whole, it's a real time of deep transformation. So, are you approaching it that way if you're feeling that? It's like when we go through very difficult periods in our life, one of the things we have to have the spiritual maturity to be able to do is to parent and look after ourselves as we're going through those things. So you might be right now really up against it in your life. Perhaps you're responsible for or caring for lots of people in need and you feel like you don't have any space or breathing room. Only you can take care of making sure that you protect some space and some breathing room for you if you have this high degree of responsibility to caring for others in your life. Equally, if you are feeling a little frustrated by the process or you feel like nothing's really moving or happening for you, the next theme, reshaping your life, is going to apply to you. So just remember, with this year as a whole, but also especially in February, if you're exhausted by the transformation process, or you suddenly find yourself in it, outer events or your inner self, your inner world just suddenly starts to go through these higher speed revolutions. Your mind starts changing, your ideas about life start changing, your identity or what you thought was your identity starts changing. None of this is that unusual, but it can feel unusual when you're going through it alone internally. But this is actually par for the course on the planet right now. We're shifting and being asked to shift either through the outer or the inner or both. So remember to allow the transformation process the time it needs and honor yourself and look after yourself as you're going through it. Really important. Okay, theme number 2 is reshaping your personal life. Reshaping your personal life. So this can mean attending to details, habits, relationships, and literally reshaping who you are and how you operate in the world. So some of you, this might mean changes in relationships. It might mean transformations within existing relationships. But the reshaping your life part really puts you in the driver's seat. So it's not so much about your response to things that might happen to you in the outside world. It's more about how you want to live. So many of you will be reviewing your habits right now, the kinds of regimes that you have to look after yourself, perhaps the way you eat, perhaps it's the way you exercise. It might be your boundaries or the way that you communicate in relationships. And it will feel very consuming to some of you. And there can often be this tendency, especially if you're someone who is mindful of being there for others, being in a way heartfelt and giving to others. When you go into a space like that, I know some people can get a little concerned that they're being a bit too self-focused or a bit too withdrawn from others. But in my experience, there are times in our life where we are pulled inside. Even those of us who aren't used to behaving in that way, there are times that we do need to just not be as available to some of the people in our life or some of the things that we do for a period of weeks or sometimes months, so that we really can repattern ourselves. So for many of you who've gone through a lot in recent months, February is actually going to be quite enjoyable in terms of how you can start to reorganize things. And because your energy will have changed, it will be easier to change some of those habits that you were perhaps struggling to change before. So reshaping your life is really all about attending to the details, the habits, the relationships, including transforming some relationships for the better, finding a new level of communication in a friendship or a love relationship or a business partnership, and having a lot of positive transformation. Relationship changes, I think, can often make people nervous that statuses are going to change, but it actually the relationships need to keep changing and evolving and growing as we go. So reshaping your life this month is going to be a big theme for many. And more importantly, the energy is going to be more supportive than it has been for a few months for many of us, to actually start to attend to some of those details and feel good about it. And to recognize that you reshaping how you operate in the world might right now be coming from a part of you that is saying, well, yeah, I need to upgrade the way I do that, or I need to change my behaviors because how it's been going for months or years hasn't really been working. But what we don't always realize is it's actually the future that is calling us into those habitual changes. Our mind might track the past and go, yeah, I need to eat better than I have been, which is great. It's great that the mind can help you let go of an old behavior so that you can move into a new one. But usually it's the future us calling us forward. The future us is always very patient with us while we navigate letting go, releasing, changing. So reshaping your life is going to be a big theme for many in February. And for many of you, it will have been something that you've already started last month or the month before. Theme number 3, revving up your mission. Revving up your mission. So that revving up word, that was a phrase I was given. That wasn't my own language. So revving up your mission. Now this got touched on in the January energy update, the theme, the rise of the light workers. So you might not identify with the light worker word at all, but it tends to mean people who are here with a purpose to try and help raise the vibration of the planet, raise consciousness. Of course, we're all still human, so we're all going through our own journey of having to elevate and heal and uplift and upgrade ourselves. But light workers often have a specific mission. Sometimes they look like people doing the kind of work I do, which is very spiritual in focus, but much of the time, it doesn't necessarily look like that as a job, but it's who you are and how you behave in the world. So you might have a very spiritually inclined job, or you might just be a very spiritually inclined person in what looks like a more, if you like, non-spiritual job. The light workers are the people who are going around the world, lighting up hearts, lighting up minds, helping, supporting to bring a better planet about. And we do it in all different areas. Some people are here for the planet herself. Some people are here for animals, nature. Some people are here for humans. There are so many different ways these roles play out. But clearer visions and action steps taken on what you want to create here on Earth will be strong in February. So many of you will already have been leaning into this energy over recent months. And again, February brings with it this slightly more particular, slightly more detail-oriented ability that perhaps in recent months you were a bit more working on the underneath, the transformation. But February is going to see a lot of people really placing things in their life, in their mission, in their work. So if you're a very mission-focused person, you should see a lot starting to come together in February that was perhaps a little more foggy for you in recent months, or a little more difficult to take action on. So February will bring a kind of sunny energy around revving up your mission, developing your vision and your action steps on what you want to create here on Earth, or what you think you stand for. So, and again, remember, it's not always a job. Sometimes it's becoming a parent. Sometimes it's being willing to take on a new role of responsibility in your family or your community. So the light worker role has many different guises and faces. This next theme is a little interesting to me. It's something I didn't quite understand, but they were adamant that I had to call it this. So the grid instability is causing electrical upgrades. Now, on a human level, we tend to think of the electrical grid of the planet as the thing that, keeps everything running on an electrical basis. But my guides were specific that this is the energetic grid, the grid that's in the earth, the energy grid that supports all of us as humans. It's becoming unstable, not for reasons that we need to necessarily worry about, but just because of all of the, all of the pulses that are coming from inside the earth, and also all of the astrological influences. This isn't necessarily my area of detail or specificity, but what I can say is how it will affect us. So one of the things that they've talked about is electrical upgrades that are really going to be happening for more and more people. Now, many of us have been through electrical upgrades for years. It's a period in your life where all of a sudden you can feel real surges of energy. It can lead to insomnia. You know, you're waking up in the middle of the night and you've got all these ideas. You don't sleep much. You're a little more hyper, perhaps, in the way that you do things. It doesn't necessarily mean you're manic in a negative way, or you're experiencing speed in a way that's causing chaos, but it's just things go faster for you. You feel a bit more alert. You almost feel like you're slightly living in a hyper way. And this can last, you know, for a day or a few hours. This can last for weeks. And for some people, it can, you know, last a couple of months. So it relates to a renewal of your personal energy. And what it can cause in your world is effortless transformations. It can see things click into place in very fast ways. So electrical upgrades are an interesting thing because for most of us, they're quite pleasurable experiences in a way, because you can feel really plugged in and really awake to your Kundalini energy, to your life force energy. But what they can also do is they can cause disruptions or diversions from what you were doing. So it can make you have to pull away from certain things, relationships, activities for a little while. Not usually in a way that you can't return to most or all of them when you're done with the electrical upgrade, but it does change things. It changes who you are fundamentally. So of course, then it changes the outside world. So the energy grid of the earth is causing more of these electrical upgrades. So you may have found yourself in one of these in recent months. You may be finding yourself in one now. The best thing you can do if it's too much for you, or perhaps if you're noticing it's too much for the people around you, it's always good to communicate to others what you're going through, even if you can't really explain it to certain people. Maybe they wouldn't understand the language you would give it, but you can just say, I'm going through a period of my life where I feel quite amped up and I'm not quite sure why, but I am, and I'm going with it. And, I'm sorry if it affects you. And you can have those kinds of conversations. But I think one of the biggest conversations we have to have is with ourselves. Usually when you're in that kind of thing, it can be very strong and it can seem a little disorienting. But usually what it's doing is it's fast tracking you to the next place. So you might not be feeling any of this right now, and you're listening to me going, what on earth is he talking about? But in February, there are going to be more of these. And so I know from a few friends I have and my own experiences in the last few months that these things come and go for those of us who are used to them with some frequency, but we're going to see a surge on it. And part of it is going to be the instability of the grid. So I'm always curious, does that mean the electrical grid as well when I get these kinds of messages? But I'm not given that kind of detail. I'm given the detail on how it will affect us. So look after yourself, drink lots of water, check your nutritional needs. Whenever you're going through an electrical upgrade, the body is the place that we really have to focus. The body is the thing having to deal with all these charges. So just make sure you're looking after it mindfully and well, and then it will support you with what these electrical upgrades are bringing into your life. Okay, the next theme follows on from it, which is psychic expansion and or overload. So cosmic and psychic connections and experiences are increasing on the planet. We've talked about this generally over the years, but in February, again, this comes into focus. And like anything I say on any month, you can run it through the year ahead. It will show up as a theme, but psychic expansion and or overload. I have a very close intuitive friend who has been intuitive their whole life. And right now they're having all kinds of experiences with ghosts that they've never had before. And they're talking to me about it. They're like, this is new. This is not something that I used to experience. Equally, I know other people that I've met who aren't used to having psychic experiences or intuitive experiences. And all of a sudden, these things are happening to them. Or They're seeking out Reiki practitioners, practitioners of healing, practitioners of intuition, because they are looking for people to help doula or midwife them through these experiences they are now craving and or ready to have. So for some of you, the psychic expansion is just happening. For some of you, the psychic expansion is being sought, and you're looking to educate yourself on what is this intuitive part of me that can connect to these other realms and other worlds. But the shadow side of it is overload. The shadow side of it can be, is it too much for you? Is it something that you're struggling with? Is it something that you need to say to the universe, please calm this down? Guide team, angels, whoever you speak to, whoever your higher power voice is, can you say, I need this to calm down a little? Remember, we can always speak dimensionally and set intentions, affirmations. So going back to what I said about electrical upgrades, having a psychic expansion is an electrical upgrade. So again, ground your body, look after your body. But if you're finding it a little overwhelming, create some affirmations of intent saying, I need this process to slow down. And or find the education or the practitioners or the mentors who can help you understand your specific area. So there will be people out there who, perhaps you're going through the ghost thing right now. Go and find the people who that is their field of expertise. Go and see what information and help you can find, because this psychic expansion can easily tip into overload, particularly if it's a shock. And it's really growing, and it's going to grow more and more. The cosmic connections are coming into play right now and in the years to come. So finding your way to understand and ground it will be crucial. Okay, next theme. Contraction before expansion. So this is something I have shared for years and years and years. I noticed a pattern for myself about 12, 13 years ago that right before something good was about to come into my life or something that was going to expand me, I would shrink back. You know, in the few days before I would meet my next romantic partner, I would start to shrink and I would start to process loads of things about previous romantic partners and then wonder what was going on, and then boom, 4 days later, after I'd cleared a lot of it, I'd gone into a contraction. Here was the expansion of this next relationship with this next person and this next level of growth. So contraction before expansion can show up for all of us. It's that day of deep self-doubt you go into. You go right down the rabbit hole of self-doubt. And then the next day you're given a job or an opportunity that you've always wanted that takes you to the next level. The reason I'm bringing contraction before expansion in right now is because I literally heard those words that February, some of you might be feeling this contraction, and you may have been in it for a while. We've touched on it around transformation, but March and especially April, the energy of those months is going to be very expansive. Expansive energy can be great. It can be a little too much for us. It can be something we don't know how to process or find our energy grounding around. So just know that those of you who are feeling a little bit like this right now or working fast to rearrange things in your life, the energies that are coming in this year are strong, and April will be a particularly strong energy month. So part of the contraction before the expansion is where we're headed in March and April. So as with any healing process moment, just love yourself through it, take care of yourself through it. If you feel you need more insight on it, research it, find the mentors, find the teachers. But contraction before expansion is an energy that a fair number of you or us are going to feel at times in February, and don't be alarmed if you do. Okay, final two themes of the month. This is an interesting one. This will affect a smaller number of you than many of the other themes, but it's an important one because I was given it. Headaches, overthinking, or mental energy overload. So there will be a group of you where a lot of these energies are going to center around your head, your mind. And of course, there can be physical reasons for headaches in the body, of course. But when the reason is energetic in nature, it can often relate to a buildup of mental energy, an overthinking, a worry, a running too much energy in our head and not letting that energy move freely and flow up and down through the body. So if you are in the group where you're getting headaches, overthinking, mental energy, a lot of it, what physical or emotional release might you be needing? What physical or emotional release might you be needing? Maybe your body needs a gentle exercise program so that you can start to run energy through your body. Doesn't have to be anything vigorous, but the consistency, like with anything, consistency is everything. It's better to go for a walk for 10 minutes a day, 7 days a week, than to push through 90 minutes on a Sunday. Same with meditation, a little and often. Any of these practices, the consistency is what creates a new energy in our system. So any of you having headaches, overthinking, mental energy, sit with the idea of, has all my energy got stuck here? Am I holding too much energy here and I need to run or move it through my body? Put on some music, dance around the house, whatever you need to do, just to let the energy start to move so it doesn't all gather and collect where your mental energy is. It can relate to fear, it can relate to worry and anxiety, fear of past events showing up in your future. But a lot of the time, these things just get stuck and we need to move our energy, our emotions, our body. So a lot about the body this month, which is interesting. Finally, and this is just a question for you to consider. What is your relationship to life and love right now? What is your relationship to life and love right now? Love to me does not mean romantic love, although that's one way that we conjure love. But we're having a romance with life, or we can be. As we all know, there are days when you do not feel like you're having a romance with life, and you can feel at odds with life or like you're in a battle with life. But what we all have to the best of our ability, work to come back to when and where we can, is what is my relationship to feeling alive and being open to love showing up for me in my life, whether it's through the love of a friend or the smile of a stranger or being able to see the beauty in nature. What is your relationship to life and love right now? The reason I'm asking you that question is there are so many things that will seduce us away from who we are in the world, that will pull us out of that fundamental spiritual truth that no matter what your faith or no matter what your beliefs are on the planet, we should all be having a relationship with our relationship to life and love, and to keep an eye on that. And to notice when we've lost our way, to notice when we've been really down in the dumps or really depressed for too long. And then we have to go, oh, I have no relationship with life and love right now apart from feeling depressed and shut down. So I should take care of that. I need to go and take care of this and bring myself back. So it's just a good question to ask yourself. What is your relationship to life and love right now? And what's the answer that you get? I asked someone this a week ago in my life because they were struggling with some stuff, and they immediately started to tell me about the outside world and how difficult and awful the outside world was. And I said, okay, so your relationship to life and love right now is all of the stories you're agreeing with or believing in about the outside world, but what about your inside world? What are you doing today to connect to life and love? It took a while for us to have that conversation, but we've all been there. I know what it's like to lose that thread. So don't forget to ask yourself, what is my relationship to life and love right now? And what would I like it to be today? Do you wake up and set an intention of, today I want to experience some joy. Today I want to experience some peace. And I am willing to be the bringer of joy or the bringer of peace. Doesn't always have to come to me. I'm willing to bring that. So we have to be very clear about our intentions right now, because there's so much swirling that it's easy to lose that central source from which we can all emanate and engage with the world. So those are all of the themes for February 2024. Take good care of yourselves this month and keep an eye on yourself as much as an eye on what you do in the world or all the loved ones that you're taking care of. Speaking of love, we are bringing the Big Love Tour in June to several cities in North America. This is my first tour since 2016, and it's actually my first live events in North America for 4 years, which is pretty incredible. Last year in summer, I got to come to Dublin and had such a special night with almost 600 of you who showed up in Dublin for a really wonderful evening. And that inspired me to get back out on the road. And so I'm bringing Davor Bozik with me, who channels his music while I channel the Z's. Some of you have experienced that in the Rebirth course that we're running right now, or have just finished. So it adds an extra layer of magic when we have the music in the room. So we are coming to Austin, Asheville, Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, Boulder, Colorado, Calgary, and Toronto. The tour kicks off on June the 12th and runs through the 29th. And of course, I know many of you can't get to a North American date. We are hoping to come to some other places around the world with this tour, but this is our first leg. And so I'm really excited to be in the room with all of you. Love is going to be the frequency we'll focus on and we'll hold, and there will be channeling, Q&A, intuitive teaching from me directly for those of you in the room, and music. We'll be doing some sing-along to the mantra that we created that so many of you have enjoyed. It would be great to sing with you. We'll also perform a few of the songs that we've created over these recent years. So can't wait to be with you. Tickets are available now. You can use the link below. And can't wait to be with you in person, those of you that can make it. For those of you who want a deeper ongoing journey with me and my work, we're very proud of what we have created in the portal, which is my members community, as well as a live broadcast with me and the Z's every month where I just focus on the members of the portal community. We also have a monthly audio recording from me. And this month it's the final chapter of The Future Human with Regina Meredith in conversation with the Z's. Fascinating series. But we also have many other things inside the portal. We have Qigong from Stephen Washington every month designed for members. We have guest teachers and teachings, so many meditations and bonus recordings that it's the perfect place to come and choose your wellness option. So if you feel to check out the portal, we'd love to see you in there. Links are below. And finally, as I said earlier, Rebirth, my annual transformation course, which is all about entering your next level of life, is now complete. We had an amazing time. And if you feel like signing up for that, it's now all archived and ready for you, so you can watch those replays as many times as you want. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care. Big love to all of you, and see you next month. Hi everyone. If you are in North America or would like to travel to North America, we would love to see you on our Big Love Tour, which is taking place in June 2024. I'm bringing my musical partner Davor Bozik with me, so these special evening events will involve channeling, intuitive teaching, which I will cater to every individual group on each night, questions and answers, and also music. We'll be bringing the songs that we have created over the last few years, but Davor will also be playing his music while I channel a message from the Z's. It's amazing that I can connect with you through the power of technology, but you can't beat the feeling of being in the room together and the group energy that gets created by the community who come. So, from June the 12th to June the 29th, these are the cities we will be appearing in: Los Angeles, Boulder, Colorado, Austin, Asheville, New York, Toronto, Calgary, and Seattle. You can visit leeharrisenergy.com to reserve your tickets or use the link below. And some of the venues we do expect to sell out quite quickly, so please do reserve your seat. We can't wait to be with you and hope you can join us for the Big Love Tour.